Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. Bob here. Thanks so much for stopping by. So last year Seiko came out with a new and improved version of one of my favorite dive watches from them, the Sumo. Today we're going to be taking a look at the green version, aka the Hulk. I've been wanting to get one of these in to take a look at with you guys for a while now. Big thanks to Chris, my good friend, for lending this and a few other watches in for us to take a look at together. If you happen to be on Instagram, give Chris a follow at SeikoHolic7 for lots of great pics of his collection. While you're there, I'm also on Instagram at TimeToGo1978, and I post pretty well daily there. But let's get into the Sumo. All right, so I think what I'm going to do here is we're going to run through the major changes between this and the last version first. There's two big ones you aren't going to be able to see right away, but first is the crystal. The crystal has been updated to sapphire. That's forever been a common complaint with Seiko, so nice to see them using it on more models lately. The second is the movement. They're using the 6R35, which from what I'm reading seems to be very similar to the 6R15, but with an improved power reserve of 70 hours. I also believe there is one extra jewel in the movement too. Visually, it's very similar, although there's been some changes to the bezel insert font. The handset is a little bit different as well, especially the hour hand. There's a few other slight tweaks, but those are the bulk of the big changes. If I missed anything, let us know in the comments below. The dial is one of those dials that goes from a dark, subdued look to quite a vibrant green, especially in natural light. It's a little bit hard to showcase the sunburst effect with these harsh studio lights reflecting there, but it's quite nice looking in person. One thing I look for straight away when it comes to Seiko, especially with the divers, is the alignment. This one is bang on with the chaptering and bezel lining up with the hour markers, so that's a big positive. The print work is nice and crisp. Over at the 3 is the date. It's a very legible dial layout, both in the light as well as obviously with the Seiko divers. The same goes for low light. The loom is just awesome. Seiko totally crushes the competition in the loom department. Super bright, and even after the initial fade lasts a very long time. The bezel, which is partially sunken into the case, has a nice action. If you look at it from this side profile, it kind of angles up and outwards, almost like a Reese's peanut butter cup. It makes it really easy to grip and turn. It is a 120 click bezel. The insert is aluminum. I'm a little bit surprised they didn't go with ceramic, but I actually don't mind the look of the aluminum at all. The case has that strong Seiko DNA, and even with it being a bigger watch, it just wears so good with the way the case angles back towards the case back. The crown is not signed, but it's a very nice size for easy use. Also, we have drilled lugs, which is good if you plan to play around with different straps. The case is on the chunky side, coming in at a width of about 44.5 millimeters. Lug to lug, 51 millimeters. The lug opening is 20 millimeters, and the thickness is 13 millimeters. The water resist, while we're talking numbers, is 200 meters. So back to the lug opening for just a second. Some people are not a fan of that 20 millimeters and think 22 millimeters would be the way to go, but I like the way it looks this way. Between the 20 millimeter opening and the taper down to 18 millimeters at the clasp, I like the feel on wrist too. The bracelet itself is pretty typical of Seiko's in this price point. It's a solid bracelet. The clasp is just stamped steel. It's not bad, but not great either. I do like the amount of micro adjust though, so you're going to be able to get that good fit. On wrist, it's got some weight to it, but Seiko has that knack for making these bigger watches, bigger and heavier watches wear so well. This one's sized just a tiny bit too tight for me, but it still wears well on my 7 1/4 inch wrist. I'm definitely very happy with the new Sumos and especially this green one. So again, a big thanks to Chris for lending this one in. Happy to be able to check it out with you guys. Thanks everyone for stopping by. Be safe out there, and we'll see you real soon. Bye bye. Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.